অ্যাকশন নিতে হবে তো। হ্যাঁ ওকে
আপনি মন্ত্র বলেন।
হ্যাঁ মন্ত্র পড়ে দিচ্ছে। মাতাজি হরি বল, হরে কৃষ্ণ
হরে কৃষ্ণ।
হরে কৃষ্ণ। এই এখন
হ্যাঁ অ্যাকশন লাগবে,
একটু হাসো।
আসবে তো।
জয় রাধে রাধে। রাধা মদন মোহন কি জয়। জগন্নাথ বলদেব সুভদ্রা মহারানী কি জয়। পবিত্র পাবন গৌরিকা কি জয়। गुरु ग्रंथ की जय, वैष्णव बिंद की जय। हरे
আরে আপনি মুখটা দিবেন ঘুরে রেখেছেন,
এদিকে একটু তাকান। হরে বল।
লজ্জা লাগছে নাকি?
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। এই তো জগতে আসিয়া মধুর হইনা আর কি হচ্ছে ভাই, যাই করো এই তো প্রভুর কৃপা। জয়।
দেবো
রেডি।
বিহাইন্ড ইউ
হরি বল।
হরে কৃষ্ণ।
হরে কৃষ্ণ। সুধীর গুরু
হরে কৃষ্ণ হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে। Vishnu Dev Bhagwan ki jai, Jai Prabhupada in the house.
So when we chant, the spiritual sound vibrations, they enter into our ears, they go straight to the heart, and it cleanses the heart of all the impurities. What are the impurities in the heart? Anarthas, unwanted things. Lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, delusion, all that is there within our hearts. Maybe in little small degree, maybe in a large degree, but they are there. So when we do satsang, jivana satsang, when we do satsang, when we come together and we read about Krishna, when we hear about the Lord, then there is purification. This is how we can engage our mind. You know, Prabhupada says the mind is like a child. Now the child wants to do everything all the time. You give a toy, he's going to break it into pieces to see what's inside. Will run here, run there, do this, throw the things around and everything. There is so much chaos. Is the child going to listen and say, sit down, sit down? I say sit down. Does the child listen? Never. I know, never. Never ever. But if we give something better to the child to do, then the child will be happy, which is called higher taste. Maybe this little girl, I love this little girl. What is her name? Gauri. She is a wonderful example for us how to chant and dance, how to enjoy the association of devotees, how to worship the Lord. Now supposing she starts eating mud and the mother says, don't eat mud, don't eat mud. Is she going to listen? But give a lollipop. She's going to give up mud and she's going to start sucking on the lollipop. Why? Because lollipop has a higher taste. This is how our mind works. It needs to be trained. It wants to do all nonsense things. But if we train the mind to engage it in service of Lord Krishna, then it's going to give higher taste and then gradually it's going to give up the lower taste. This is how we train. And for that, we need a bona fide spiritual teacher, a spiritual master, a guru who can guide us how to be fearless. And here Govinda Das, he is saying, Chapala Sukha Labalagire. It's all flickering happiness. When I used to work in the corporate world, my colleague was 80 years old, 80 years old. And he was doing 2 jobs. I was tired of doing 1 job. It was so difficult just to work 8 hours a day. But he did 2 jobs. So one day I inquired from him, what is the motivation? Why are you doing 2 jobs? He said, my goal, look at his goal. His goal was to become a member of a golf club. And so he was doing 2 jobs to save money so he can become a member. So I asked him, then what? He said, then what? I'm going to play golf after I retire. When do you retire? After 10 years, when he's 90. And then what is he going to do? Prabhupada says, put a ball in the hole. That's all he's going to do. Become a member. He has slogged all his life. And the remaining few years, hopefully few years are still left for him to put a ball in the hole. What kind of goal is that? That is wasting the human form of life. How many of us have made plans, 5-year plans, 10-year plans, that after this, maybe in 2030, this much money I'm going to have, or this job is going to be how many of you made those plans? 5 years, 10-year plans, right? That means you are saying, you are guaranteeing that you're going to live that long. But here he's saying, Jivana Talamala, that Jivan, this Manav Jivan, this human form, is like a drop on a lotus leaf. Do you know that no drops of water stay on the lotus leaf? It just glides down. Why? Because it has a wax covering on the leaf. So Govindas is saying that our life is like that drop of water on the lotus leaf. It can slide anytime. What does that mean? That we are in a fair and we are sitting on a slide and we go down? What does it mean? Death can come anytime. So our 5-year, 10-year, 15-year plans are not going to work. one should have, now that we have this human form of life, we have philosophical intelligence, which is better than the intelligence of the animals. So what do? We try to understand the purpose of human form of life. And the purpose of human form of life is eat, sleep, and be merry. No? That sounds so good. So much fun. Right? No hard work, just enjoy. No. The human form of life is meant for self-realization, where we try to understand who we are. That we are this body. That's what we need to understand. No? I'm just tricking you all to make sure you all are awake. Because sometimes when the class starts, that's when people get sleepy and drowsy and get some nice rest. There was this gentleman who would come to hear Srila Prabhupada, and he told him, "You have cured my disease." What was the disease? He could sleep. But then when he came to the Bhagavatam class, he would get such sound sleep. Why? Because the mind is not engaged in worshipping Krishna. And worshipping Krishna means Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam. The 9 processes. In fact, he himself, Govinda Das, says, Edhana Yaubana Putra Parijana Iti Keachi Parititire Kamala Dalajala Jivana Dharma Bhajau Haripadanitire. That now that we know that our human form of life is like a drop on the lotus leaf, which is so very fragile. Yes, it's fragile, and we are not sure how long that drop is going to stay on the lotus leaf. Anytime it's going to slide. So, Bhaja Hari. Yet we need to chant the holy names of Hari, that is Hare Krishna, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Govindas is saying everything is going to go away, whether it is the youth or the family or possessions or beauty, whatever it is one day going to go away. So we need to be prepared. Like I was young at one time, but not anymore. And you all are saying, yes, that means I'm old. Like in Hindi, they say, Abhi to main jawan hu. You know, I'm still young. Maybe young at heart. But there is no assurance that the beauty is going to stay forever, the youth is going to stay forever, the wealth is going to stay forever, and the family is going to stay forever. So Govinda Das is saying, Bhajau Hari, that we must worship the Supreme Lord Hari, that is Krishna himself. And that's why we come here on Sundays together to do satsang, to sing together, to chant together, to hear Krishna Katha, to learn from the Bhagavad Gita and also from these Vaishnava songs. We can learn, like today we are learning how to become fearless. Now it's not going to happen instantly that tonight you go home and you say, I am free, I am fearless. It's not going to work like that. We have to work on it. There has to be training, there has to be constant practice. Practicing. Why did Srila Prabhupada tell us that the way to self-realization is that we chant the holy names every day for 2 hours, 16 rounds every day? That's the prescription for the disease we have. What kind of disease I don't want to know what diseases you have, but what does Prabhupada say? What kind of disease do we have? Forgetfulness of Krishna. We are in illusion. We are under the attack of Maya. So, we really don't know how to come out of the clutches of Maya. But Bhagavad Gita gives us the solution. Even this Vaishnava song today is giving us a solution. It's giving us actually a formula, just like in the Bhagavad Gita, there is a peace formula. Who knows the peace formula from chapter 5? Bhoktaram Yadnatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwara Suridam Sarvabhutanam Nathamam Shantim Princhati. That's the peace formula. When one can understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. He is the Bhokta, He is the enjoyer. But we like to be the enjoyers. You know, in India, in the ration card, does anyone know what's a ration card? Those from India know. It's a ration card. In India, in those days, not now, in my days, like decades ago, we could not get grains, we could not get rice or wheat till we had the ration card. We had to take that and go to the store, grocery store, and get, and they would mark over there how many kilos of grain was given to us so that we can go back again until next month. So what is there on the ration card? Head of the family. Yes? Who is the head of the family? Who said Krishna? Krishna actually is the head of the family for all of us. But materially speaking, father or husband or whoever, right? So the very important point is Krishna is the head of all our families. He is in charge. He's a controller. So in the 5th chapter, verse 29, he says, if one understands that I am the enjoyer, I am the cause of all causes, I am the best friend of everybody, then that person will become peaceful. That's the peace formula. Now theoretically it's very easy to understand. Oh yeah, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes, best friend. You know, we are like friends. But practically, do we think about it? No. As soon as we start, our jobs or business or whatever, the thought that comes to our mind is, I am the enjoyer, I am the controller, I am the head. So here Govinda Das is saying we need to give up all these designations. Edhana yovana putra parijana iteke achi parititire. All this beauty, family, children, everything not going to last forever. How many of us have experienced losing our loved ones? Yes? At some time or the other, we have. We have lost our loved ones. But what did we think? They are going to be with us forever. Like in Hindi movies, they have, 7 janmo ka saath, 7 births. Everyone is making faces. You don't want same spouse for 7 births? Really? That means we are fed up in one life itself. Now I'm not sure if your spouse is watching you in those expressions. Right? That's material world. Dukhalaya. It is full of miseries and it is temporary. So he's saying all these will go away. There is no assurance of anything staying with us forever. Even our youth does not stay with us forever. That is material world. And then he says, Shravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Pada Sevana Dasave Pujana Sakhijana Atma Nivedana Govinda Das Abhilasave. It is the desire of Govinda Das that he wants to engage in these 9 processes of devotional service. We read about this in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Prahlad Maharaj, he explains that these are the 9 processes of devotional service. And it starts with Kirtanam, Shravanam, which means hearing. Hearing is very, very important. The more we will hear, the more we will internalize it, and the more we will put it into practice. If we don't hear, then how can we go to the next step, which is Kirtanam, which is chanting? So Govinda Das is saying, this is my desire. And what do we learn from this? That it should be our desire also to engage in these 9 processes of devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada says that even if we become expert in one of these 9, any one of these 9, you become self-realized. But it should not be that Shravanam, Shravanam, Shravanam for years and years and years, and then after that nothing. But Mataji, I'm hearing every day, I'm hearing 2 classes every day, I am hearing this and but what is the end result? Is it going to the next step, which is Kirtanam, which is chanting? And when we don't do hearing and chanting, then the 3rd step, which is Smaranam, remembrance of the Lord, is not going to take place. So there is a golden rule that Srila Prabhupada has given. Smartavya sadatam Vishnu, vismartavya na jaticha. That always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So if we do either of those, the other one is covered. Does that make sense? If we always remember Krishna, we'll never forget him. If we never forget him, that means we are always remembering him. So even if we follow half of that golden rule, we will be successful in becoming self-realized. So he's aspiring, Govinda Das is aspiring. He's not saying, I have reached that stage. He's aspiring to engage the mind in worship of Krishna. That should be our aspiration also, that somehow or the other we can use our senses in serving the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, what will happen, we will start serving our senses. And then the mind will become our worst enemy. So if we want to make mind our best friend, then we need to engage the mind in serving the Supreme Lord. Then he says, once we surrender ourselves to the lotus feet of Krishna, we will become fearless. But we have to put in that effort. We have to come up with a plan. How do we lead our spiritual lives? Whatever. You know, okay, get up in the morning, shower, do some ting, Mangal Aarti, then do some chanting of it. I have to chant. How many of you heard this? I have to finish my rounds. Yes or no? Does anyone say, I want to chant my 16 rounds today? So for us it's a burden. Chanting is a burden. Reading is a burden. Hearing is a burden. Is it easy to come to temple in this cold weather? Wouldn't it be nice to be in your bed with a nice warm blanket and, doing what? Don't tell me watching videos. Or on Facebook. I think there's Twitter also, something called Twitter, Instagram. That all brings about fear in the heart. Because there are expectations. So here Govinda Das is saying that we should engage the mind in serving the Supreme Lord. And if we do not engage the mind is going to go all over the place, everywhere. And then it will be Durlabha Manav, this human form of life which is so very rare, is going to go waste. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, don't be a miser. What does that mean? Don't give your money to anybody. Don't share your possessions with anybody. What does he mean?
Don't waste your human life.
Don't waste your human form of life. If we are wasting our human form of life, that means we are misers. It's not by chance that today we are sitting here, over here in this temple room and hearing about engaging the mind. It's not by chance. According to the Bhagavad Gita, those who have accumulated a lot of pious credits in their previous lives, they get an opportunity to come to a place where they can hear about Krishna. But still, Krishna says, Sarvasya Chaham Hridaya Sanivishto. I am situated in everyone's heart. And he says, from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So he's giving us three choices. We need to choose, what do I want out of these three? And then Krishna will say, Tathastu. If I decide I don't want to remember the Lord, he will say Tathastu. Then I will forget the Lord. But if I have a desire for knowledge, then he is going to guide us to an association of devotees where we can hear about Krishna. So we make the choice. He is not interfering with our minute independence. We think we are independent, but we are not. If we were independent, if everything was under our control, then we would not grow old. Then we would not die. Then we would not be in misery. We will not be diseased. So he's giving us a choice. In fact, Bhagavad Gita is the summary of the whole Vedic literature. It's the essence of Vedas. And Bhagavad Gita teaches us how to be fearless. In fact, someone had asked a question, how do we know? Do you all want to know what is the symptom of one who is fearless? Right? So we can figure out, where do I stand? Am I fearful or am I fearless? So in chapter number 16, in verse number 1, Srila Prabhupada in his purport gives us the answer to that question. He says, one must be fully convinced, not partially, fully convinced that Krishna, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his localized aspect as Paramatma, which is Super Soul, is always within. That he is seeing everything and he always knows what one intends to do. Now imagine if I could read your minds. How many of you would be sitting here? Nobody. Right? Yes or no? We don't want anyone to read our minds. We don't want anyone to know what's going on, even though I'm listening to the lecture. Oh, when is she going to stop talking? I am so hungry. I want some prasadam. Right? So, but Krishna knows. He knows our intentions. He knows our desires. He knows how sincere we are on this path of Bhakti Yoga. He knows it all. Why? Because he's situated in the heart as Paramatma, the Super Soul. He is the witness, he's the guide, he's the one who's giving us direction based on our desires. If I don't want to hear about Krishna, he's not going to bring us here. So, Srila Prabhupada is saying that Paramatma is always within. That's what we need to remember. If we want to be fearless, we have to remember all the time. Whenever we meet others, the first thought that should come in the mind is, Krishna is within me and Krishna is within that living entity also. Not necessarily just human beings, animals, plants, insects, reptiles, everybody, all living entities. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarva Yonishu Kaunteya, right? Of all the species, Aham Bija Pratapapita. I am the seed-giving father of all living entities. So if we want to be fearless, then we have to be conscious of the fact that Krishna is within the heart of every living entity. And imagine if, supposing I have a desire to insult my sister, but if I remember, oh, Krishna is in her heart, then no. I need to control. And how to control these desires, these longings, these attractions, and these distractions? Engage the mind in service of Krishna. Then Prabhupada says, one must thus have firm conviction that Krishna as Paramatma will take care of a soul surrendered to him. He He gives special attention to those who surrender to Him. Now what does it mean by surrender? You come into the temple and you lay flat on the ground and offer your obeisances. Is that surrender? Follow the instructions. That is surrender. Whatever instructions are given in the Bhagavad Gita, that is for our benefit. So when we follow the instructions of the Lord, then we will be able to really become self-realized. Otherwise, waste of human form. I was listening, someone was telling me that, is there anyone from here from Rome? Rome, Italy? This lady, an old lady who lived in Rome, she was a widow and she was very old. And when she died, they read her will. And what do you think was in her will? Make a guess. She had $13 million. Who do you think got it? Huh?
Okay.
It's gone? I wish. Huh? Her dog? You're very close.
Okay.
A cat. And that was a stray cat that she had picked up from the street. Now the cat doesn't know that he or she is a millionaire and doesn't know how to spend that money. Wish that cat was a human, right? He could have donated to ISKCON and built a big temple. So how did that happen? Because no goal in life. Don't know what's right, what's wrong. Had she been a devotee of the Lord, then what would she have done? She would have given all her millions of dollars to spreading Krishna consciousness. So having a goal in life is very, very important. And here Govinda Das is telling us that if we want to become fearless, then we need to surrender to Krishna. Prabhupada continues, I shall never be alone, one should think. I shall never be alone. Loneliness is one of the fears in this country. But when we realize Krishna is within me all the time, how merciful He is. He comes with us in every body that we take. Whichever body we take, whether animal, human, whatever, Krishna travels with us in that body. That means in each living entity there is a soul and there is a super soul. So Prabhupada says, even if I live in the darkest regions of a forest, I shall be accompanied by Krishna and He will give me all protection. That conviction is called Abhayam, fearlessness. So if we can somehow or the other purify our consciousness and think in these terms, that Krishna is within our heart as a super soul, He's accompanying us, He's going to give us a protection no matter where we are. What else did Prabhupada say? Have firm conviction. Not by the way faith. Maybe whatever faith. No. Firm conviction that Krishna is within the heart of every living entity. Then a person can become fearless. Now again we have a choice. We need to decide what do we want. We want to live always in fear. What are children afraid of, fearful of? The dark, yes. What else? Separation from parents, yes. Huh? Homework? Yes. Huh? Heights, yes. Drowning in the water. Are children not afraid of cockroaches? Adults are. I am. We have so many fears. How do we become fearless? Here is a solution in today's Vaishnava song. Bhajam Premana Sri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara. When we take lotus feet of Krishna, then we become fearless. And taking shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna means following the 9 processes of devotional service, starting with hearing, Shravanam, Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma, Nivedana. Atma Nivedana is complete surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna. This is how we can become fearless. So now who will give me the summary of today's class? It's going to be difficult, right? Because the mind traveled out many times. Okay, so I'm going to end now. If anyone has any questions or comments, you're welcome to ask.
I have a question, Mataji.
Yes.
So you said being miserly is wastefulness. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, so Srila Prabhupada explains in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna tells Arjuna, don't be a miser, which means don't get so involved on the bodily concept of like my relatives, my friends, this and that. So you rise yourself above the body concept, which means you understand that you are the spirit soul, you are not this body, and all these who are there against you, come to fight against you, they all are also spirit souls. So don't cry over their bodies being destroyed, like because they're going to get killed in the war. So he's telling Arjuna that you are mourning for what is not worthy of mourning, right? Arjuna was thinking, how can I kill my relatives? Because once they die, which am I going to enjoy, right? They will be gone. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, you're being a miser because you're not understanding that all these bodies that are standing in front of you, they are not just the bodies, they are the spirit souls. You see? Try and understand the difference between body and soul. Then you will understand that you need to follow the instructions that Krishna is giving, which is fight, because you are a Kshatriya, your prescribed duty is to fight. So you fight, do your duty, but don't look at the results of your activity. Do it for me. So if Arjuna doesn't follow that, that means he's a miser. So we need to follow the instructions given to us by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you, Mataji.
Any other question or comment? Yes. Yes. Yes, go ahead.
In life, we always plan something, and we have the result also, expected result. And in engineering or whatever we do, we plan, we present everything, we get financing for it, and we have to do it. So we know 60% or 80% result already. In that situation, how can we offer to Krishna that I'm doing for you and I'm not expecting any result?
That is what Prabhupada says, that we should do everything to the best of our ability. Whether it is engineering, becoming a doctor or scientist, whatever it may be, we should put in our best effort. But don't desire the result. Don't get attached to the result. That I'm going to get this percentage in my, final exam, or I'm going to be this. Don't have that expectation. So when we, and also go with the consciousness that I am going to do this for the pleasure of the Lord. So once I become a doctor or an engineer or whatever it may be, I'm going to use whatever I earn in service to the Lord. So the end result will be for serving the Lord. So when we work in that state of consciousness, then we are not attached. You see? And then that is called akarma. Right? Vikarma is we go against the scriptures. Akarma is we are following instructions of Krishna, but we are not desiring the fruits of our activities. So if it's in that consciousness, then yes, we are studying hard, so we know we get 80%, 90%, whatever. But we still understand that everything is in the hands of Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for a very beautiful class.
All glories to Prabhupada.
I have one question. You usually happen in the morning. We say, I need to chant. But how do we develop that I want to chant?
Not I need to chant, I have to chant. I have means I don't have a choice, so I have to do it. Especially for us who have taken initiation, we have taken a vow, so we have to chant 16 rounds. So to change from have to, I want to, then that needs some planning. So the planning starts the previous night. You see? So we figure out, how is my chanting? Am I chanting all my rounds in the morning in the Brahma Muhurat, or am I chanting in the night when I'm almost fast asleep, using chanting as, to fall asleep kind of. It's like a nice meditation, nice, what is that they do? Hypnotize, it's so hypnotizing, chanting and then falling, get some nice, we need to plan that if I really want to chant attentively, not just chant, when we focus on chanting attentively, which means we are hearing what we are chanting, then that desire to want to chant will develop. Otherwise it will be, I have to chant, because I have to finish my rounds, and then, it's like supposing so I'm on my last round and the last beat. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, I'm finished. My job is done. That is, I have to chant. But I want to chant will be even after 16 rounds are over. Oh, they are over so soon? Maybe I want to do some more. So that taste will come when we chant attentively. Does that make sense?
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
In the same situation, we are chanting, and it will benefit me and every other person also. My question is, I'm chanting. Do I check the picture of Krishna, Radha Madan Mohanji, and look at it there and chant, or I hear my chanting and at the same time hold the deity form in my heart as well as in my mind, and I wanted to do while doing this thing. What is the out of the two? Can I hold both or no? Then you ask me.
I will tell you what Prabhupada said. One of his disciples approached him and had the same question. What should I do? Look at the picture of Radha Krishna or what? Prabhupada said, just hear. Whatever you're chanting, just hear. Don't do anything else. Don't look, don't think, don't do anything. Just hear what you are chanting, because the potency is in the sound vibrations. So if we will focus on hearing, then when we come to a pure stage of chanting, then Krishna Lila and the picture, everything will manifest on your own. That is a pure state of chanting. Right now what we are doing is, there is Nam Aparadh. We are at that stage, right? Nam Aparadh, where we are chanting with offenses. But then we have to go to the next stage, Nam Abhas, which is cleansing, the clearing stage. Then Shuddha Nam will come, which is pure chanting. In that stage, seeing the picture of Krishna, thinking of Krishna at the same time. For us, at least I'm talking about myself, it is just hearing the sound.
One more question.
Yes.
In the same situation.
Yes.
When we chant, somebody else is chanting, like I'm chanting with Japa class or somebody, I'm hearing their sound, okay? No doubt I'm putting on a low level. Still I'm hearing. And so sometimes you try to swallow your saliva, and during that time, did I chant or I hear? That is my situation.
This is what I heard in Vrindavan from Srila Prabhupada's disciple, that we should concentrate on our chanting. We should hear our own chanting. So if someone else's chanting is disturbing us or it's louder than ours, then we should increase our volume so that we can hear ourselves. We should hear ourselves. Okay, looks like, yes.
decisions to do something, we think about the results before we make the decision. You know, you're not going into college because you need to go into college. You're going into college to get a degree, to get a job, right? So thinking about the results for Krishna, and when you first make it, you're like, okay, with this job I'll be able to have enough off time and like serve Krishna, and like I'll have enough money to support myself and support the job, things like that. So in that sense, is it fine to just continue thinking about the results? Or?
Yeah, in that sense it's okay, because at the back of our mind, we are thinking that once I get this job, then I'm going to serve Krishna better, right? So that is there at the back of the mind, and which is good. Yes. Like Prabhupada, I think it was Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj, who was asked by Prabhupada to finish his education and become a scientist, so that he can then reach Krishna consciousness. So it's okay, yes.
And an extension of that, where would there be a situation where you don't think about the results?
That's a good question. Probably never. Because if we are, performing devotional service, we are doing what is required, following the process, then we do have to think about results, but in service to Krishna, not for personal enjoyment, right? So. Okay, thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Let's give a big round of applause for our great speaker. This beautiful class. So now I'd like to call the Sunday sponsor. We have Anand Company family. Please come forward and do the mini arati. And then I request one of Gopal Krishna's disciples to come and forward also.
Krishna
Been having back-to-back programs. Today is our busy Sunday. We had 2 programs this morning. So I'd like to request, actually today's Sunday feast is being sponsored by Gopal Krishna Maharaj disciples in honor of Maharaj's presence on this planet. So I'd like to request some devotees who can represent. Please come forward and take the blessings from the lordships. The disciples, they sponsored this feast because they wanted the blessings of the disciples of Maharaj. Together they sponsored this feast to celebrate his life, and he has departed this world, as most of you know, but that his teachings have not been forgotten, and his disciples are still making sure that they vigorously continue in his mission that he left behind, to steadily practice their spiritual lives and spread the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we're going to pray for all the disciples, since Maharaj is already in the spiritual world. He is showering his blessings upon all the disciples. So if you don't mind to please raise both your hands. Together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, Mataji. Now I'd like to request Hina Mataji and family to please come forward. Sumati or Sumati? Sumati. So, everyone is here? Many of you know. Keep learning from her as well. Many of you know recently on the 12th, she left, right? On the 12th, Mother Hina and her sister and the whole family, we celebrated the life of Sumati Mataji. She was the mother of also Jyotika, as many of you know her. She had been coming to this temple for years. I would say, at least in my eyes, I have seen her come for almost 20 years. And on the 12th of January, she departed this world to continue her spiritual pastimes with Krishna in the spiritual world. It was a very beautiful celebration because she was this person that held the community together and the family together, and made sure that all the children were somehow or other always connected to the temple and in the service of their lordships. So they are sponsoring this Sunday feast actually in her celebration of her life on this planet, and of course seeking the blessings and prayers of all the devotees that her soul reaches the ultimate destination. Do you want to share a few words? Does everybody know Hina? We all know her because her profession, she represents this temple legally. She's a lawyer in practice, and she's been connected to this temple for as long as I can remember. So please share something about you.
Hare Krishna, everyone. I don't know much about the religion or anything, but I just know that do good karma and the Krishna is always with you. So I try to follow the theory of karma, and that is what we learned from my mom and my dad. That is what we were asked to practice. My mom, until she departed this life, she was always for the service. Sometimes she would ask me when I'm going, I said, Mom, I'm not in the office today, I'm going for one of my clients. And then she would ask, because she knows when I'm going to the court or I'm going to the immigration office or something, my attire would be different. So she would ask, how many clients do you have? And I would say the number. And she said that I would pray for that. And when I returned home, she would ask, what was the reason? I said, the reasons were good. So it is all her blessings. My office, whatever my work, is because of her blessings. This is what she was doing for others, to whom she never knew who was those clients. But she would pray for them, she would chant, she would make a round for them, that Krishna bless them and give them the strength to do the best. And that is how she was, and that is what we learned from her. Whoever comes at home, she would make sure that they are fed. She wouldn't eat until her last breath. She would ask first, did everyone eat? She wouldn't eat until, she has an answer that yes, everyone has been fed. So this is how she was, and that is what we learned. And when she departed, her last was, she did all Ekadashi. And the last Ekadashi, she said, she was singing a song, I have to go to Vaikuntha Dhama. And that was the last day she ate Ekadashi food. Then she did not eat anything, and she departed. So she is with Krishna. She is in Vaikuntha Dhama, and with her we always felt that she was in Vaikuntha. That was her soul. She was always for others. And I love my mom. I love the Krishna who was residing in her body, and I love everyone. Hare Krishna.
Sumati Mataji ki jai. So, would you like to share? Anyone else would like to say?
Thank you.
So, if you haven't seen her, you can look at the picture and you'll recognize her. She is to be very humbly coming into the temple and sitting in the corner and just observing and just really absorbing all the spiritual practices and kirtans and the aratis and the classes. Very instrumental for encouraging her children. I remember Jyotika used to always tell me that she got her spiritual inspiration from her mother, and she rendered a lot of service to this temple. So we're going to all raise our hands and pray for Sumati Mataji, that she continue her service and her relationship with Krishna and Vaikuntha. Together, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So just two brief announcements. Dulal is here. So, we all know that we have every Ekadashi Kirtan, we have Super Saturdays, and then we have Sunday Feast, and we also have all the festivals that are on the calendar. So for this year, 11 months of the Sunday Feast is still available for sponsorships. What we're hoping to do is, not today, whenever you want, if any Sunday of the year, in the next 11 months, you would like to use those days to somehow celebrate your life or your near and dear ones, then it will be nice if you don't mind to put your name on the list, and we will start publishing those Sunday Feast sponsors ahead of time so that you can all see. So 11 months, how many Sundays is that? 44 Sundays. There's 44 opportunities to serve the Vaishnavas in their worships. So please come and see Shotashura Prabhu, and we'll be able to engage you in the service. Also wanted to give you other few announcements. We have on February 1st, we have the Super Saturday, and then on Tuesday the 4th is the appearance day of Advaita Acharya. On the 8th is Bhaimi Ekadashi, that's where we have our Ekadashi Kirtan. On the 9th, which is the Sunday, is Varahadev's appearance day. There will be celebration in the temple with Abhishek at 4 p.m. On Monday is Nityananda Trayodashi. So there's a lot of events coming up. And Nityananda Trayodashi is a big day for us. The festivals will start, although it's a Monday, we will start at 4:30 a.m. with Mangal Arati, and in the evening at 5:30 we'll start the celebrations for Nityananda Trayodashi on the Monday. And then on the 17th, the appearance day of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur, that is the day Srila Prabhupada came to Atlanta. So there will be another celebrations. So there's a lot of celebrations, and we'll of course mail this, give you the details in our emails and our WhatsApp groups. So everyone is requested to come for this Super Saturday because we want to dedicate this day to Srila Prabhupada, 50th anniversary of Prabhupada's arrival to Atlanta. So this is the plan. So I request all of you to please come and join us. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So please come for the last darshan, and prasadam will be served in the temple.